Amy Schumer on Howard Stern, which you could hate that right there, talking about Madonna. This is just, ugh. And I heard that this had happened from some comics when I was in New York. Madonna and Amy went to the Comedy Cellar, and I guess, maybe Amy went up. Yeah, Amy went up and did some stuff. And Madge, I hate when they call her Madge. Madonna wanted to get up and do some stand-up comedy. So she, gets up there, and I from what I heard from comics that were there, it was all just like Trump bashing and, all the usual nonsense. Well, there is not one thing coming out of that mouth that is going to be the least bit funny. The crowd must have went like, "Oh my God, Madonna, this is insane." And probably gave her a lot of latitude in that sense. I don't know. Maybe they did. Maybe they didn't. But she got up there and, did some stand-up comedy. Ugh, just disgusting to even think. And, it made me think, like, imagine Amy isn't there on Howard's show, but Howard hears, like years ago, Howard hears that Madonna tried to do stand-up at a comedy club in New York City. Now it's Fred and Artie and Howard and maybe a guest, and they're talking about Madonna doing stand-up in New York City. Do you think that would be a fun thing to be like, "Oh, that's cool"? Or do you think they'd rip the shit out of her, and Artie would say shit like the audacity that you could just get up there and do stand-up because you're Madonna? That's what Howard's show would have been years ago. But look at the new Howard gushing, just gushing with Amy about Madonna. We grow up. There's certain things you can't do anymore because you're older and it looks ridiculous. That's understandable. But to turn into someone that gushes with Amy Schumer about the prospect of Madonna going up on stage to do stand-up comedy, when you were that guy, when you were this Howard Stern, I'd have turned my radio up and just waited for the assault that would have happened. But here's the new Howard now. Hollywood Howie, Jimmy Kimmel's best friend Howie, with Amy Schumer talking about Madonna doing stand-up. Let's listen in.
This relationship you have with Madonna, you're good friends with her, which is exciting. She wants to be a stand-up comedian, and she went with you to the Comedy Cellar, and you sit there and you critique her.
She's been interested in a long time. She has something in her that's like interested in stand-up, and you have to work really hard on it.
Right.
And so she's like, I want to get up. I've got things I want to express. We've done this a couple times and go to the Comedy Cellar and nobody knows that we're going, and I do some time and then I introduce her and she goes up with a notebook and she is like kind of working on her set, and it's not cringy. She's funny. She's got jokes. She's got things to say. She's got tea. And then after we talked about it a little bit and like what went well, and then I'm like, she's going to watch her tape and like figure it out. She doesn't have to get over stage fright. She's got to jump on the game.
Yeah.
And it's fun. She's like, she's dishing. She's talking about her life. I'm like, I love it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, she's dishing. How embarrassing is that? Howard Stern. Just, listening to Amy talk about Madonna doing stand-up, watching her tape, notes, and Howard just doesn't go, "You're kidding, right? This is a joke." The balls. And I'm not even talking about the balls of, oh, you're just going to get up on stage. And, there are a shitload of very, very talented comics that'll never see the stage at the Cellar. To get that pass, ain't happening. But, Madonna comes in. Noam's going to and clear the field. Clear the field for Madge. Ugh. Oh, Howard. I hope Fred left the room in protest. It's the only one I kind of still have respect for. And, it's understandable. Where would a Fred Norris go at this point in his career? He's attached at the hip and makes a good living. But I cannot imagine Fred sitting there listening to Amy Schumer wax fantastic about Madonna's stand-up routine, that she's got, chops and she's dishing, and not just in his head going, shut the up. It's one thing I miss about Sirius XM, the elevator ride with Fred Norris. That would have been good. Could have asked him about that. He'd have made a face. He'd have made an all-knowing face.